What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back to my banner review series for Fire Emblem Heroes. In this series I do an in-depth review of the newly released banner and tell you guys how good the units are on that banner and if that banner is worth summoning on or not. If you already have these units, then I also go over their best inheritance options. So today we got a Sacred Stones banner featuring Myrrh L'Arachel and Eirika as a Red Tome Cavalier. So let's begin with Myrrh, as she's the best unit from this banner. So Myrrh is the first flying dragon in the game and she's the second green dragon after Faye, so she's quite unique, and having flyer movement makes her have superior mobility to other dragons, and she can work both on a Dragon Emblem team and on a Fire Emblem team, so that makes her the only unit in the game who can function in two emblem teams. It also allows Fire Emblem teams to do better in Arena in terms of score, and Myrrh is the highest scoring flyer in the game, and she can hit on the magical side, which is pretty good for a Fire Emblem team, and Myrrh can use Guidance Sacred Seal on a Dragon Emblem team and give more mobility to her dragon allies. But the flyer typing does have its cons. So the biggest one is that she cannot run Steady Breath, which is the best skill for dragons right now. So Steady Breath cannot be inherited to flyers, and she cannot receive Infantry Pulse support like other dragons, and Dragon Emblem teams do utilize this quite a lot if they do not have Steady Breath on every dragon, because it helps you nullify the +1 cooldown from Lightning Breath. So that's something which Myrrh cannot receive. Myrrh is also weak to a lot of things: bows, Naga, Divine Naga, and Falchion, and of course Excalibur, which no one uses, but she can only nullify her flyer weakness with Iode Shield Sacred Seal, and do not think that just by running that she will not take bonus damage from Falchion. I repeat, it only nullifies her flyer weakness. Now let's take a look at her stats. Her HP is decent, but unfortunately it's not high enough to make use of Panic Ploy Sacred Seal, which other dragons can pretty easily, because after refining their breath, they get +5 HP and that helps them proc Panic Ploy. But Myrrh's legendary breath cannot be refined, so she cannot really run Panic Ploy, and her legendary breath is too good to not use. Her base attack is 33, which is decent, but with her legendary breath, which is essentially 19 might, she can reach 52 attack pretty easily, and since Myrrh cannot use Steady Breath, it's possible to use Heavy Blade Sacred Seal on her to charge up her specials faster due to her great attack stat. Just like Sacred Stones, Myrrh has got low speed, but it doesn't really matter in Heroes too much, because with her Great Flame, she can avoid getting doubled by a lot of enemies, and especially hard-hitting glass cannons, because they are almost always going to be having very low defense. So speed is her least important stat, and thus minus speed IV is the best bane for her. Her defense is the most important stat because it helps her proc the earth sweep built into her breath more, and because of that, plus defense is really amazing. Her defense is great, and combined with Great Flame's effect, she can easily take on strong red units like Aira. Right here, as you can see, she can survive a +10 merge Aira who's got plus attack IV when Myrrh is unmerged, and she just has a single close defense seal. So that's why it's her most important stat, but it's gonna be really a hard kick in the teeth if you get a minus defense IV Myrrh, because she's got a super bane on her defense, meaning that she loses on 4 points rather than 3 points like normally she would. And ironically, she has got a super boon in speed, which is her least important stat, so getting a minus defense Myrrh diminishes her niche with Great Flame, but it can be worked out with proper skills and defense buffs from allies. Her resistance is the highest for a dragon, and she can easily take on hits from mages, because most mages will not have a lot of defense unless we are talking about bulky mages like Winter Tharja. So Myrrh will most of the time not get doubled by such mages, and she's got a fantastic mixed bulk, which makes her the perfect frontline unit who can also take hits from red units as long as she can proc the effect on her Great Flame. Her BST is 167, which is highest for a flying unit, and it's even boosted than what we actually consider to be boosted for dragons. So she has got 4 points higher BST than Noe and Young Tiki, and due to it, she can score much higher than other dragons in the arena as she enters the bin of armored units. For those of you who do not know about bins, then please take a look at this card. In Arena, the BST scoring is calculated in bins, which are in the sets of 5. So for example, a unit with 155 BST will score same as a unit who has got 159 BST. Myrrh, even though she's got less BST than some armor units, she can score same as them because she's the only flying dragon in the game who reaches the bin of 165 to 169. She can score same as Hector and Black Knight when taking BST into account, and if you take weapons into the account, then she will be scoring better than Drog and Effie due to having a legendary weapon. So if you're someone who's concerned with arena scoring, then Myrrh is a fantastic unit, especially in increasing the score of your team if you run a Fire Emblem or Dragon Emblem team. It's actually insane how high her BST is for a flying unit. Moving on, her weapon is Great Flame Breath, which is a legendary breath and it cannot be inherited to any other dragon, and this makes it the first legendary breath in the game. It grants +3 attack, and if Myrrh has got 5 more defense than her enemy, then the enemy cannot make a follow-up attack. And this is huge because she can avoid getting doubled by red units like Eira, bullfighter skill units, and not get quad attacked by units. So this skill is the biggest unique thing Myrrh has got going for her, and it's amazing if you're able to utilize it to maximum potential because she will have amazing longevity. You can make this proc more by having skills like Fury, Steady Stance, or Close Defense that can increase defense, and by also providing her with defense buffs from allies. She can avoid doubles both in player phase and in the enemy phase, and in the enemy phase, she can double attack herself by using Quick Riposte, so this makes her an excellent defensive unit. It also calculates the damage against ranged units depending on which of their defense or resistance is lower. Now at first it might seem useless as naturally Myrrh can now counter attack against ranged units, but this effect also applies in the player phase. So if Myrrh initiates a combat against a Brave Lyn in the player phase, then she's gonna be targeting her defense and Annihilator, so it's not at all useless and it can further be used with a distant counter slotty skill. And because this breath cannot be refined, it's pretty good that she already has that inbuilt. Her special is Bonfire, which is a fantastic special to be used on a unit like Myrrh, and it's her best special pretty much. Her slotty skill is Fury, which does increase her defense so that she can make use of her Great Flame even more, and Fury in general is one of the best skills that you can run on a dragon unit, so it's pretty good that she has that by default. Her slotty skill is Hone Dragons, which is a new skill, and it makes dragons even more terrifying than what they were already before. As it is, their Refined Breath, Steady Breath, and Quick Riposte is annoying to deal with, and with Hone Dragon buff, it will be hard for you to double them, and they can hit even harder even if you bait them out in the enemy phase. If Myrrh does not get demoted to 4-star rarity, which she won't most likely, then this will make Dragon Emblem the hardest team archetype to throw together, as both Ninian and Myrrh, who have got the dragon boosting skills, are locked to 5-star rarity. But that's not to say that you cannot use dragons without these buffing skills, because dragons alone are so good and they can function well, but of course if you want to take their power to the next level, it's going to be hard because both of these units are locked to 5-star. Overall, Myrrh is the best unit from this banner, who is a fantastic defensive unit with a very unique legendary breath. And here are some of her best inheritance options. The first set is a budget set which can be run on any kind of IV Myrrh which you've got. Quick Riposte is the best defensive skill that you can run on her because with Great Flame she can prevent double attacks and then double attack herself with Quick Riposte, so it's fantastic. The synergy of Quick Riposte might look shaky with Fury at first, but it's actually better for Myrrh than any other unit due to the fact that she can prevent doubles and in a way take less damage. Close Defense Sacred Seal helps her proc her Great Flame even more in the enemy phase, so it can be run, but she can also run IO Shield, Guidance Sacred Seal, and stuff like that. If you do not like the combo of Fury and Quick Riposte, then you can even run Defense +3 on Slotty as a budget option if you want to use her in something like Tempest Trial without a healer. Alternatively, the combo of Renewal and Quick Riposte Seal can also be used with the first set. The second set is Myrrh's absolute best set. Distant Counter is her best slotty skill, and if you have got an extra Hector from the first Legendary Hero Summon banner, then you can invest into Myrrh, as Myrrh is one of the best units in the game to give Distant Counter to as of right now, in my opinion. With Distant Counter, she can take on range units and smoke them by targeting their lower defense or res in the enemy phase. A Close Defense Sacred Seal to increase their defense is better than Distant Defense because most range units, other than some really bulky mages and archers, on average will have less defense than most of the melee units, and with Close Defense she can proc Great Flame against a lot of the melee enemies. The third set is for the people who dislike running Fury on her with Quick Riposte or just have a minus defense IV Myrrh and still want to use the Great Flame. Close defense on slot A is also an alternative to steady stance, but steady stance is better as it provides a flat +6 defense in the enemy phase. Of course, if you're running Myrrh on a Fire Emblem team, she can also run a set to be a Braveland and a Reinhardt check in the enemy phase with Iot Shield Sacred Seal. This is especially really good if you miss getting Spring Camilla and want a good check to those two units on your Fire Emblem team. With this set, she can one round KO a +10 merge Brave Lane and Reinhardt, and Brave Lane will never be able to quad attack her with her Brave Bow set because of Great Flame. Myrrh can also use the combo of Guard and Quick Riposte Sacred Seal because honestly her longevity becomes even better if she can block the specials of enemies, and it is also an option which you can consider. Now let's move on to L'Arachel. She is the blue cavalry unit on this banner, and looking at her stats, her HP is extremely low, so she cannot really take too many hits. Her base attack is 33, which is highest for a mage cavalier in the game as of right now, but unfortunately her speed is mediocre at 31. And she can reach 34 speed with Ivaldi's effect, but only if her opponent is at full HP. So due to this mediocre speed, if you remove her Ivaldi for a Blade Tome, for better nuking potential, she won't be able to double attack a lot of units, so plus speed IV is the best boon for her. Her defense is very low at base 17, and with Ivaldi's +3 defense it can become 20, so she cannot really take any sort of physical hits with her low defense and low HP, so you should keep her away from physical units. Her res is 31, which is actually pretty good, and she can make use of stuff like Speed Ploy and Res Ploy really well because of this, and easily take hits from red and blue mages, and she can actually survive a +10 merge Reinhardt with a Deflect Magic Sacred Seal and one round KO him, so having good res is pretty nice. Her BST is 145, which is not boosted, and same as launch units like Leo and Ursula, and I guess intelligence systems think that mage cavaliers are good as it is and don't really need a BST buff. And a lot of the players and a lot of the whales are probably not going to be investing into these mage cavaliers because of their low BST. But if you're concerned about your arena score, then do not run a minus defense L'Arachel because she's got a defense super bane which puts her at 144 BST. Her weapon is Ivaldi, which is a legendary weapon. It grants +3 defense, but it's pretty useless for the most part as her defense is low as it is and it doesn't really do much. So it provides her with +3 attack and +3 speed during combat if the enemy is at full health, which is similar to Lloyd's Regal Blade, but it's better. So with this, against full HP enemies, she can reach 50 attack and 34 speed, which is not really too bad. Her special is Growing Light, which is almost like a very sick joke on her because her Ivaldi only gives her the attack and speed boost if the enemy is at full HP, and if you run an area and effect special, then you're gonna be doing damage to the enemy before the combat when you trigger that special and knock them out of their full health, and then Ivaldi will not do anything or give her any kind of attack or speed buff because they have taken damage, so it's really counterproductive, and I highly recommend you to take this off, not even waste any kind of SP on this skill, and replace it with Luna or Iceberg. Her slot B skill is Renewal, which is not a very good skill on her because she's not a very defensive unit. Sure, she can take few magical hits here and there, but in general, it's not a skill that works very well for her. Her slot C skill is Resistance Tactic, which is not as good as Attack Tactic, but can be decent for helping an ally take hits from a threat like Nino or Reinhardt. This can be replaced with a Ploy skill if you've got the resources to help L'Arachel with her matchups. Her default skill set is quite underwhelming actually and has synergy issues. Overall, L'Arachel is a decent blue mage, but she faces a lot of competition from Reinhardt and Olwen, and she cannot really match Reinhardt's offensive power with his Brave Tome. But this should not deter you from investing into her if you like her as a character, because in Fire Emblem Heroes, at its core, any unit can be good if you invest into them enough. Speaking of investments, let's take a look at her best Gunnarton's options. The first set is a good budget set and can be run on any kind of IV L'Arachel, even a minus attack L'Arachel, and with her Ivaldi effect, she can reach 40 speed, which is enough to abuse Desperation with Fury, and be sure to run speed +3 Secret Seal because she really needs that speed. The second set is a more expensive set because of Swift Sparrow and Speed Ploy. With how Ivaldi works, you need to make sure that he can do a lot of damage to the enemy or just take them out in a single round. So Speed Ploy definitely helps with that, and with Ivaldi effect and Swift Sparrow, she can reach 41 speed and actually double units with 41 speed after she gets a speed ploy debuff on them. So speed ploy is a really good skill if you want to invest into L'Arachel seriously. Her third set is for the people who have pulled a minus speed IV L'Arachel. You can make her into Reinhardt check and also double lance units. Other breaker skills like sword breaker or blue tome breaker can also be run on her, and it's up to your preference. And death blow can also be replaced with a budget option like attack plus 3 if you do not have resources. Her last set is a blade tome set, which I would recommend to run only on horse emblem teams, and plus speed IV is very good for this set with a blade tome. Now let's move on to the last unit from this banner, which has got Eirika as a red tome cavalier. So her HP is low just like L'Arachel, but her offenses are amazing. She's got base 31 attack and base 35 speed, and that's the second best overall offenses after Brave Lane for a ranged cavalry unit. So Eirika functions really well as a player phase unit due to her amazing speed, but her bulk is pretty bad. With Gleipnir she gets plus 3 res, but it doesn't matter at all for an offensive unit like her, and her stats are min-maxed pretty nicely for an offensive cavalier, and she just outclasses Leo as a red tome cavalier. Her BST is 144, which is not boosted once again. Her weapon is Gleipnir, which works same as L'Arachel's weapon, but it grants plus 3 res, which is not much of a use honestly. Her assist skill is rally attack speed, which is honestly a fantastic dual rally skill, which previously only Brad Cordelia had, and she is a seasonal unit. Her slotty skill is Swift Sparrow, which is perfect for an offensive unit like her, but honestly, she could have life and death and it won't really change much because it's not like she has any kind of bulk to begin with that she wants to preserve by running Swift Sparrow. Desperation goes well with her high speed, and red tome experience is pretty worthless for the most part unless you're grinding a unit to level 20 to promote them and use them for skeletons. Her default kit is fantastic actually, and she's an amazing ranged cavalier and a really good red mage in general because she's got the highest speed for a red mage and only one less attack compared to Tharja and Katarina, which is decent trade-off for 1 speed point in my opinion. Now let's take a look at some of the builds that you can run on her. The first set is a budget set which can be run on any IV Eirika, even minus speed or minus attack, because she will still be able to do a lot of work with that, but I would say that minus speed IV is a lot worse than minus attack on her. The second set just replaces her weapon with a blade tome, and she can be a really insane unit when she receives horse emblem buffs, and honestly she can function just fine with a blade tome outside of a horse emblem team. It's great because you don't really have to invest into her too much because she already comes with a premium slotty skill and with desperation. And now I will give you guys my final verdict on this banner. Overall, I think that this is a great banner because of Myrrh and Eirika, but with 1 year anniversary right around the corner and also a new legendary hero summon banner which comes out at the end of this month, you should obviously not summon on this banner right now, and if you do not spend all of your orbs into this hastily. Eirika is a great red mage, and if you lack red mages then she's worth pulling for, and Myrrh is just an amazing defensive unit who's very unique and also provides good arena points. It's also worth noting that these units will most likely be 40% bonus units in the upcoming mini Tempest trial, but if the things are like how they were before on the last mini Tempest trial, then we will get a free hero for 40% bonus in Marissa. Like I said before, be very careful with this banner, especially if you're a free-to-play player, because the anniversary is coming soon, and in gacha games anniversaries are a big thing, so it's better to summon on this banner after you have seen what's on the legendary banner and what's on the anniversary event. So that is gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please be sure to leave a like as it helps me a lot. And if you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.